Phil Edwards stepped in the 10th round in Cardiff. Carlos Takam became Anthony Joshua's 20th victim with a 10th round stoppage in Cardiff on Saturday night, but the world title challenger and plenty in the sold-out Principality Stadium felt referee Phil Edwards stepped in too early. We asked current fighters, retired fighters, one famous fight fan and the two men it affected for their take on it. Matthew McLeany did think it was premature, but Joshua won every round. Sooner or later something like that causes some serious damage if it goes on too long, so I am not complaining. Takam's eye was bothering him for a while, so it kind of made sense to me. And let's be honest, because of the late change in opponent, Joshua was always going to be in a now-in situation. If he had blown Takam away, who is world-class by the way, in a couple of rounds, people would have been even more unhappy. Carlos Takam the challenger Tony Bello, we don't think it should have been stopped, but I'll be honest, I don't want to see people get hurt and it was premature but he was going to sleep. It was like Frochgrove's eye to me, it shouldn't have been stopped, but the fact of the matter was, 2 or 3 more punches and Takam could have been in serious trouble. We all want conclusive finishes and people who have paid good money to be here want to see a knockout. You could see it coming as well, but like I say, I have no complaints about it. Luke Campbell Takam was taking big shots and had been throughout the fight. He was still fighting back a little bit, but did he need to carry on taking those big shots? He had to cut eyes. He was getting hit heavily more and more, as well. You can understand why he wanted it to go on, but when the referee made the decision, Joshua had hit him with a flurry and that looked painful. The referee has to call it then and there and he did that. I don't think it was that bad. There was only going to be one winner anyway. Anthony Joshua the champion. Colin Farrelly can see where the referee was coming from because we all know there have been some horror stories. But one thing for me was your man Takam had the right to go on a little bit longer because he was dangerous. He was beaten up by Joshua and would take shots for 65 or 70 seconds, but then he would come back, and even if it was only for 6 or 7 in comparison, it showed he was still in it, competing at least. Carl Froth. First thing I want to say is Phil Edwards is a very good referee. I had him in a few of my fights, so it would be wrong for me to say it was stopped way too early, but if I am honest, it probably was. If a fight can go on, it should go on, especially if there is a world title at stake. The crowd reaction said it all, but Edwards can't be made responsible for this and have the weight on his shoulders for this. Takam was cut, was bleeding heavily, had just been battered with the right, so if you are sensible, you'd have liked to have seen it stopped when it was. If you were barbaric like me, it was probably too early. But it's not the referee's fault.